Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. I saw another scary red map on Twitter this afternoon. Peter Dines wrote, "We are watching this relic Greenland ice sheet from the last ice age disappearing before our eyes. The ice sheet is losing more than 10,000 cubic meters of ice per second, the equivalent of one bathtub of water to every person in the world every single day, and people still invest in Florida." Peter wants people to believe that the Greenland ice sheet is disappearing and it's due to the burning of fossil fuels. So I responded to Peter. The surface of the Greenland ice sheet has gained more than 450 billion tons of ice since last August. This is the fifth year out of the last 7 which the surface has gained more ice than the 1981 to 2010 average. These graphs of Greenland's surface mass balance are from the Danish Meteorological Institute. Every year from September through June, the Greenland ice sheet gains a lot of mass, on average more than 500 billion tons of ice. And then for a couple months during the summer, some of that ice melts off the surface. You can see this summer's melt represented by the black line from here to here. The melt this year so far has been less than 150 billion tons. During an average year, the melt is more than 200 billion tons. So this year's melt so far has been low. Greenland is about to turn cold, so the melt is going to slow way down. It is likely that when August ends, Greenland's surface will have gained more than 400 billion tons of ice over the last 12 months. That is the exact opposite of a meltdown. Peter didn't like me posting factual information on his timeline, so he immediately blocked me. Let's look at Peter's last sentence. And people still invest in Florida. He wants people to believe that Greenland is melting down and Florida is about to drown. This is what Miami Beach looked like this afternoon. It doesn't appear that the beach is about to drown or that anybody is in a panic. This is what the beach at Fort Lauderdale looked like in 1960. And this is what that same beach looks like now. There's no indication that the beach has changed significantly since 1960. Google Earth imagery shows that the beach may have actually grown since 1984. People are so worried about sea level rise at Fort Lauderdale that you can now pick up a nice home on the beach at the fire sale price of less than $100 million. It's not surprising that Peter blocked me because his business depends on pushing the climate scam. His company's motto is, "Cooling Earth and its inhabitants." Richard Horton, editor of The Lancet, wrote this. "The case against science is straightforward. Much of the scientific literature, perhaps half, may simply be untrue, afflicted by studies with small sample sizes, tiny effects, invalid exploratory analyses, and flagrant conflicts of interest, together with an obsession for pursuing fashionable trends of dubious importance. Science has taken a turn towards darkness. Poor methods get results." We've seen the junk science and the conflicts of interest. Now let's look at some actual science about Greenland. In 1912, shortly after the Titanic sank, the New York Times wrote this. "An unprecedented warm winter in the entire Arctic is believed to be the cause of the vast number of icebergs adrift in the North Atlantic Ocean." And the warm winter was followed by an unusually hot summer. The Hydrographic Office reported a temperature of 94 degrees in Greenland that summer. The summer of 1911 was extremely hot. New England had their deadliest heat wave, which killed thousands of people. And the same heat was occurring in Europe. More than 40,000 people died from the heat in France. The Arctic had their warmest winter on record. Greenland reported 94 degrees during the summer, and there was extreme heat in America and Europe. But if you look at Michael Mann's hockey stick, he shows the extreme heat of 1911, which sank the Titanic, as being one of the coldest years of the last millennium. Michael Mann's hockey stick is some of the worst junk science, and it bears no relationship with reality. But the academic community has accepted it because fears about climate bring them billions and billions of dollars in research grants. And this is exactly what Richard Horton was writing about. Flagrant conflicts of interest together with an obsession for pursuing fashionable trends of dubious importance. Poor methods get results. There's no indication that Greenland is melting down now, but it hasn't always been that way. In 1939, the leading Arctic expert reported that Greenland was melting very quickly. It may without exaggeration be said that the glaciers of Greenland, like those in Norway, face the possibility of a catastrophic collapse. So let's take a look at what's actually going on in Greenland right now. The Petermann Glacier is one of Greenland's largest glaciers. It has advanced about 10 kilometers over the past 10 years. Since 2013, the glacier has grown about 1 kilometer per year. The press reports this decade-long advance of the Petermann Glacier as melting faster than expected. And this imaginary melting suggests that sea level rise is underestimated. Whatever the press says about climate, it's normally safe to assume that the exact opposite is true. Greenland is not melting down and Florida is not drowning, but con men are making lots of money pushing the global warming scam. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on this massive money-making scam for the past 15 years. You can visit him, Kyrie Caesar, Toki Upla, and the 4 new puppies on the web at realclimatescience.com.